So yeah, so Jason was like, yeah, you can't tell me what to do, and the guy just kept sitting there playing cards. He was like, whatever, it's not worth dealing with. So they just kept playing, and because everybody else is just trying to keep their mind busy. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing else to do. There's no music. There's no anything. It's they put you in there for at least 5 days, not including the weekend. Um, so at least 7 days if you're there for a weekend. Um, so like if you like, unless you come in there on Monday, you're gonna do a weekend, so it's gonna be at least 7 8 days. Um, why was I even mentioning that? Anyway, so they were. Oh yeah, yeah, because all they're trying to do is just keep their mind busy. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of what it is just filling time. So they're all just sitting there trying to play cards, and Jason's just going way too hard. And eventually, the lady, who I'm gonna call her Deborah, but if Deborah, I'm sorry if you see this. I know that's not your name, but you only told me your name once, and I forgot it. So I'm just gonna call you Deborah. I'm sorry, but she she eventually started calling him on his shit too, and she was like, "Yeah, no, you really can't do that." And this dude lost his shit. He's like, "Fuck it," and he just like threw everything and like just pushed everything off the table. And she's like, "All right, I'm done." And she got up like immediately, and the younger older dude like left, and then and Mark and Jason like tried to flip the table really hard before realizing that it was like in the ground. Like it was just so funny to see just like this like worn down but still in a fairly young like 30-year-old body, like crack addict, just all this energy just try to push a bolted table that's like fucking cemented into the ground over just because he's mad at everything. He's just like, ugh! And the other dude, the first dude who first like even said anything to him that was like, nah, you can't do that. He was just sitting there the whole time. Everybody else got up and left. I was in the back. I was in the back of the lunchroom, and I had my magazines set up so I could like fingerboard without it making any clackings, without it making any clacking sounds. And so I'm just sitting here watching it, and Deborah was watching me the whole time. I'm just sitting here watching it like Mark Maron. I'm just sitting here watching. I'm like waiting for this passive aggressive shit to finally get to this point, and sure enough, it did. But it was so funny seeing the old guy. This dude's Jason's like freaking out, like losing his shit, and the old guy didn't flinch. He's just, I don't know if they had him on a certain drug or maybe he's just that much of a badass, but he's just sitting here just fucking 30, why did I almost say 30 seconds? He's like sitting here like 2 inches from the fucking just this chaos that this crazy crack drug addict Darren guy is going through, and he didn't give a shit. He's just like, yeah, saw that coming. It was so good. I wish I could have, and I wish so badly I could have taken some pictures or videos for you guys, but there's no, all you get is a pen and paper. And but that leads me into my recovery, which is I met some people there that helped me very much. Primarily, there were three people. Two people, really. Dr. O'Connor, or Dr. O'Connell, rather, and I always, at first I heard them calling her Dr. O'Connor, so I started calling her Dr. O'Connor, but then she corrected me as Dr. O'Connell. And she's the psychologist, first psychologist I've ever met that actually leveled with me, and she's met people like me, and she's met people like me who have beat it. Because you got to understand when, like, people when one of the things they ask you is, what do you want most in life? And for me, it's just to be happy. Which for me means to not be tense and to not always feel like I'm gonna die. Because when I don't feel like I'm gonna die and I don't feel all tense and I don't feel scared, I'm a happy, regular human being. And I know that I know that that's just part of being a human being, is being scared sometimes and having a little bit of fear. But as you can imagine, for me, it's excessive. So one of the things they always ask you is, yeah, what do you want? And my what I want seems so, because I've been dealing with this anxiety and this darkness for so long, and I've had this shroud over me for so long, that I don't believe it'll get better. It's not that I don't believe it'll get better. I don't believe it'll go away. I don't see myself as ever going back to being just a happy person. I believe I'm always going to have the shroud over me. I'm always going to have it. But Dr. O'Connell, let me know, and she showed me examples of people who have had it much worse than me, believe it or not, who are now happy, functional human beings. And she put me on a regimen of, right now, unless you can't already tell, I'm already kind of a little doped up, but she's got me on a regimen of things. We narrowed it down, and it seems to be really helping. During the day, I take 0.5 Klonopin when I wake up. If I need it, I use this thing to check my blood pressure, and if it's if it's over 160 over 60, then I take one of my propranolol, which is a beta blocker, and that'll stop the heart palpitations. And because I think I had arrhythmia or something. I have my heart was giving like an extra beat, like whenever it would happen a lot, like to the point where they caught it a lot during. They gave me an EKG and they were catching it, and EKGs don't last that long, but yeah, they gave me an EKG and they found out that I was getting, I guess it's called arrhythmia or something. I forgot what it was called. I didn't want to write it down because I knew that I'd get home and Google it and scare myself. But really all I did there was I just submitted myself to the mercy of the professionals. I submitted myself to the mercy of the people who have dedicated a massive portion of their life to being the people that you're supposed to go to when you're in my position. That's what I was doing there, which at first was very scary. It was a very scary thing to do because I like to be in control of myself. I don't like to give up I don't like to give up too much of myself to others, which is why I don't have much emotional attachments to friends and everything, because I don't like being that emotionally invested in a person other than myself, because everybody knows most of the time that it leads to sorrow. So, but that's what I did there. I submitted myself to the mercy of the professionals because I didn't know what else to do. It was that or come home and kill myself. So she asked me on that in the morning, and then same thing at night, although I take 12.5 Seroquel. Now let me show you these little Seroquel things. I accidentally took a full 25 milligram last night because, if you can even see this, look at how tiny this little thing is. This little guy though, he will knock you the fuck out. I slept for like 12 hours. And but I'm supposed to cut him in half. So I need to go down to the pharmacy again today and get a pill cutter, because obviously I can't just do that with my fingers. So I'm supposed to take half of that at night, and that'll, because apparently she says I don't quite have, she didn't diagnose me with being bipolar, but I have, I act because of how far I pendulum between the light and the dark. It's very much like a bipolar disorder, even though I'm very aware of it and I let it happen, because I'm just riding the wave of the yin yang thing. I'm letting the dark, like when a dark thought happens, I follow it until a light thought happens and I follow that. But it got to a point where I was having nothing but dark thoughts. So there's that, and that's what I've been on. And during my time there, aside from just the we have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then a little snack at night. Actually, the food there was really good. They have like a bomb ass cafeteria. You get to order your food, and it's actually really good. They have good ass food there. And because it's not there, you're not there for a physical problem. You can eat all you want. It's a head problem. People are there for head shit, so you can pretty much eat. It doesn't matter, whatever you want to eat. And it's all free. It's all free. Like, they didn't even put it on my bill. They just give you food. They like, with your meal at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day, it comes with a menu, and you circle out all the stuff you want for breakfast, lunch, and dinner the next day, and they send it out. That's what you get the next day. And the next day, on top of your breakfast, you get another menu. It's just the same thing. It's always really good food too. Although the beverage choices were very slim. Drank lots of chocolate milk. But yeah, while I was there, I learned a lot of things. Well, first, let me just tell you the things that I learned about my anxiety and stuff. Um, I learned that, if I could find it, yes. Dr. O'Connell. Oh, and I still didn't even talk. Before I get into this, let me talk about, yes, Dr. O'Connell helped a lot, and she's helped me. She's setting me up with a good therapist and all that. But so is this lady, Nancy. Nancy is only a social worker. I say only a social worker, not to take away from the fact that she's a social worker, but she's not like a psychologist or a psychiatrist, or she doesn't need to be in the hospital. She could do a lot of other things because she's a social worker. But that's what she does, and she connected with me on a real level because she felt like, and who knows, maybe this is just like a thing that she tells everybody that comes through. Maybe it's a script she's been doing forever and it's like a malicious thing. Regardless, it helped me. She took me into her office, and normally what she's supposed to do as the social worker is be the person who sets you up with a plan for when you get out. For when you get out, for when they discharge you, because they don't want to just kick you out on the streets and just send you right back to where you were, and just send you right back to the person you were, and just hope that what you learned in your time there sticks. So her job was to set me up with like a therapist and a counselor and just things like that, and make sure I made it to made sure I had enough medication to make it to the 18th when I can see Chris Murphy, and that's all her job was. She's just the middleman. She's just the person who gets you from there to wherever else you need to go. But long story short, our meeting ended in both of us crying and hugging, like crying, because apparently our stories are very similar. She lost her mom at a very young age. Actually, her mom was murdered, and I guess my mom was too, but vicariously, because of Darren, getting her back on the heroin and all that. But yeah, she lost her mom at a young age too, and I don't know how much I can go into, because I know that she knows about my YouTube channel, so I don't know if she'll see this and all that, but you know what, fuck it, it wouldn't be real if I didn't. She said that she felt my mom's presence in the room, and at first that really frustrated me, because I was like, you know what, I just met you don't know my mom, you don't know who she is. She was a beautiful woman. You don't even know what she looked like. But it was so genuine and it was so real that I don't know what to believe when she says that she felt my mom's presence in the room, and my mom saying that I was going to be okay. Because you got to understand, Nancy's been doing, she told me she's been doing this for 15, 20 years. She's dealt with a lot of patients. But she told me that never has this happened where, it just started out as me just telling her, because I was just supposed to give her like a little brief, like you give the doctors that come in when they type in your stuff at a regular doctor's appointment. I was just giving her the briefing of what I have so she could set me up with the right people, but we really clicked, and she realized that we're very alike. And she started telling me that, like, I'm the reason that, she got into this work and all this kind of stuff. And she started crying, and she said that, like, I don't know how to tell you this, but I feel your mom's presence here, and she wants me to tell you that you're going to be okay, and that you have like a family coming, and that there's nothing you should be worried about, because you're going to be okay. And hold up, let me pause this, because this is about to get intense, because she said some shit.